Hello and welcome to Shauna Stitches podcast, episode number 36. Today is August the 19th. It's a Sunday and I am filming in my backyard. I apologize, I'm going to be like squinty the whole time. It's actually a very overcast, not nice day, but I just have like super sensitive eyes. And I was trying to film indoors, but the lighting was terrible, so I thought this was an okay compromise, so I'm just gonna be squinting, so sorry. Thank you for coming back if you've watched before, and thank you for tuning in if it's your first time watching. For those of you who know me and have watched my podcast before, you know that it has been about 3 months. I had to look up on YouTube to figure out A, what episode we're on, and B, how long it'd been, because I knew it'd been a long time. I totally forgot my coffee, so I'm going to be right back. Okay, that's better. I have coffee, and I'm drinking it out of my Oregon mug, because that's where we are, and that's where I am anyways. Oregon coast, and as I said, this is my backyard. It's not the most gorgeous, it's not landscaped at all, but I like it. It's very natural, and if you could see beyond the trees behind me, there's a swamp. I remember when I was buying the house and my realtor, when I called it a swamp, she's like, no, it's natural wetlands, but I call it my swamp because I'm not trying to sell my house. So I love it. I love that nobody can build behind me. All right, so oh my gosh, I was just going to tell you, I have like a million finished objects since I recorded last, and I'm not going to end up showing you everything. And then I remembered that I didn't grab something that I did want to show you, but that's fine. I will, if I remember, I will grab it when I take a little pause here. I have so much stuff that I'm going to kind of pause and grab other things and like have a wardrobe change and all that stuff. So speaking of wardrobe, you may have seen this on Instagram. This is my Tecna, I'm not sure. Call it either. I don't care. But I will stand up and show you this here, kind of. There we go. So you've seen it a million times before, I'm sure. It's got the lace pattern down here, plain stockinette, and I just did short-ish sleeves. There's the back, same thing. I knit this to the pattern specifications. I will say the one thing that I did change was that it called for ribbing here at the end of the sleeves, the cuff. And since there was a rolled neckline, which mine doesn't seem to really lay correctly, I think it's a little tight. So it doesn't roll a lot. It's fine. It doesn't bug me. But anyway, I just decided to make this match because it seemed like a lot of different edgings for a very small kind of space where you would see them together, and that just seemed like too much, so I did my own thing. I knit this out of Knit Picks Lindy Chain, which is a linen cotton blend, 70-30 if I remember correctly, but that could be very wrong. And it was my first time ever knitting with linen. It's in the turmeric color. And for those of you who have knit this pattern, or if you've looked at the pattern page, the main page, you'll know that there's a vast array of size needles that people were getting gauge with. I don't remember what I went with, but everything, probably too much, is on my project page notes. I always like to keep really detailed notes because I won't remember. So go check that out. My Ravelry username is Shauna Stitches, just like the podcast name. And it will tell you everything, but I had to swatch like 4 or 5 times. I think that was my tale of woe the last time I podcast, but I didn't go watch the last episode, so I could be wrong. But I know I talked about it on Instagram. All right, so that's my first finished object. I've worn it a couple times now. I absolutely love it, and the linen seems nice. I do wish Knit Picks Lindy Chain was like a traditional linen where you could wash it in the machine and dry it in the dryer, because that's supposed to make linen softer. But not only does the label say to hand wash and, flat dry it, but I've heard from people that it will drastically shrink if you try to dry it So that was kind of a bummer, but it fits great. I love it. Definitely, I think I will get a lot of wear out of it next year. And, the end of this year, but it seems like we're already kind of heading into that fall weather around here. All right, so let's start with some socks. So Lily of Nordic Stitches was doing, or is doing, till the end of August, her summer Shortys collection. I can't recall now, it's 4 or 5 shorty sock patterns. They are all really fun to knit, but I failed, I did not complete all of them. I don't remember the names, but I do have, like I said, all that on my Ravelry, so I will put that down here for you guys. If you buy the collection, you get them all, so I don't know that they're for sale separately. Anyhow, there is one sock, and I have its mate here, which I did not put on a blocker, so hopefully you could see the pattern better. This is knit out of Ice Yarns. I don't remember the type of ice yarn, and they don't do color names, but anyway, just a 75-25 nylon wool or wool nylon sock blend. Nothing too crazy. All right, the next one from that collection that I knit is this gorgeous one. This one was really one of my favorites to knit. I really enjoyed the pattern. I haven't traditionally been a shorty sock wearer, but I have worn, actually nope, I didn't wear that pair. I have worn one of the pairs, and I really did like it. It went really well with my Converse. So yeah, anyway, that one was really fun. Again, I don't remember the name. I will put it on the screen. But part of the same collection. The next and last sock that I knit out of the collection is this one. I forgot to say what yarn this is, but I don't remember, so I'll put that on the screen too. Anyhow, this is the one pair that I have worn. I'm sorry I didn't wash them, but they're pretty clean. I don't walk around just in my socks, so yeah. Anyway, this was also a very beautiful pattern. I will put the name on the screen. They were all like water, ocean themed. But yeah, really pretty. Really enjoyed knitting them. I will tell you, shorty socks fly by on, my foot's a size 9, so, and I like a tall leg if I'm doing tall socks, so these are much faster. I can do a pair in about the time I can do one sock. One long sock, I should say. All right, next finished pair. For those of you who do follow me on Instagram, you know that Glenn and I, who's my boyfriend, we went to Cabo in June, and I could not resist bringing this color of yarn and knitting it up because it is so gorgeous. This is Candy Skein Yarn. The owner of the hand-dyed yarn business is named Tammy, and Tammy just moved to my area recently. Well, I think it's been over a year now, but recently we started having knit nights together, which are so much fun. You guys, if you've never been to a knit night, I can't even tell you the difference it makes to actually go knit with people who understand what you're saying. It's amazing. Like, podcasts are great, but to have that interaction in real time is amazing. So if you have the opportunity, I highly suggest it. Anyhow, this is Tammy's yarn, Candy Skein, in, I think it was her June colorway. It was May or June. It was called Pinata. And she does not re-dye these, so I'm sorry, you can't get any of your own. The pattern I knit this in is the Vanilla Latte socks, I think it is. Or maybe just, no, it can't be vanilla. Vanilla Latte, I think. You guys, I'm so rusty, I'm sorry. Plus, it's been a long time. These were finished in June. I finished them while we were in Cabo, which was great. I really enjoyed knitting with the yarn, and more so, I just loved the colors. I had a hard time. I actually ripped out 2 socks, knit with that same yarn, not the whole pair, of course, but I was just knitting too tightly. And one was the payday socks, where you do a slip stitch up, and it kind of enhances the pops of color, but it was way too tight and I was really disappointed, but I kept going because that yarn is so fantastic. All right, I finished another pair of socks while I was in Cabo. These were very easy to finish. This is my first ever pair of worsted weight socks. I still haven't worn these because obviously it hasn't been cold, but I look forward to wearing them. I don't recall the needle size that I used on these, but I will say I might go down a needle size the next time I try this. I used 9-inch circulars that I had for doing sweater sleeves. I want to say it's 4mm, but that seems really big. So I will put that on the screen also, what size I used. I had to play around with how many stitches to use because I couldn't really find a pattern that worked for me. And I started with way too many at first and very quickly realized that it was not going to fit. But these fit fantastic. It's the Blueberry Waffles pattern, which is my go-to. This is knit in Ice Yarns Magic Sock, which is a self-striping. And I just held it double. So it's 2 strands of fingering weight. I managed to line up the colors, and yeah, I think it changed pretty well. Like I said, I finished the whole pair. The thing about the larger needles is at the heel, I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel. If you can see that, like it's kind of holy, and I know some people complain about that on their fingering weight, but I don't know, these will probably be great. I'm not sure if I have any shoes these will even fit in, so, but I kind of imagine wearing them maybe inside slippers or like my Birkenstocks or something in the winter. I think they're going to be really warm and cozy, and I always have freezing cold feet, so I would like to knit up another pair for sure. I have hummingbirds dive bombing me. They're really mad because I haven't made them any sugar syrup in a while. You might even be able to hear them chirping around. All right, I have one more finished object, and you guys, this is the big one. I am so excited about this one. This is my Triple Dutch cardigan. First cardigan I've ever knit for me, because I made the antler cardigan for a coworker, just a little baby size. But you guys, this thing, look at this cable. Oh my gosh, I love it. First time ever doing a shawl collar. Turned out great. Let me tell you a little bit more about this pattern. So while Glenn and I were in Cabo, I checked my email, and I had previously signed up to be a test knitter for Mina Phillip Knitting Expat. And, you know, she'd put out a couple call for test knitters, and whenever they came out, like, I either had projects that I wanted to work on, or I just wasn't, you know, super in love with the design, or, you know, one was the baby, or more than one, I think, were baby patterns, and it just didn't really interest me a whole lot. And then I saw the Triple Dutch come out, and I immediately filled out the form while I'm there in Cabo. The resort that we stayed at had a Starbucks, so that was literally the only time that I would have like Wi-Fi or anything. So I'm on my phone filling out the form, and, you know, just really hoping that I would get picked. And then I did, and I was shocked because she only picks 2 testers per size, and I feel like I'm pretty normal average size, I guess. So I figured a lot of people would have written in to say that they wanted to do it. So I don't know how she picked or why she picked me, but I'm so thankful she did. I immediately ordered yarn, which is not this yarn, believe it or not. I ordered this yellow tweed from Knit Picks, which was a DK weight. And then when I finally started getting the shipping notices of when it would arrive, it wasn't till like July 7th. And we had a deadline of August the 12th to be done. And I was like, there's no way. So this, originally, the yarn was for the Timberline cardigan that I was going to knit Glenn. And so I repurposed this. I can buy more of this, no big deal, for Glenn's cardigan whenever that happens. So I was so thankful to have enough yarn in my stash to actually just I did my swatch, I got gauge with the recommended needle size, and I just start knitting. And you guys, it was fabulous. I knit it exactly to the pattern, of course, because I'm test knitting, so I need to make sure that it comes out right. If I were to do it again, I would probably steek it, so knit it in the round so I didn't have to do the purl back rows. I didn't hate the process, I just feel like it's faster for me to knit the whole thing. But anyway, I'm gonna go change my shirt and put this on and film it for you guys so that you can see what it looks like on. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back, and a little wardrobe change. I'm gonna do a quick little turnaround, and then I'll sit down and we'll talk about it some more. So you can see here, there are cables running down each side of the front. Turn around, and that's where the really fantastic cables are. There's 2 cables across. They were the largest cables I've ever knit, like width-wise, stitch count-wise. But they were not hard. It was not hard to follow the pattern. I felt like it was really well written. I don't know, I just feel like it fits so good and it's cozy. The yarn, if I didn't mention, is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. It's the non-superwash. I've never used it before, but I feel like it softened up a lot after washing, and I really like it. I made the sleeves long enough that if they're in my way or something, I can just roll up the cuff and they still fit, you know, they're still good length. But if they're unrolled, you know, they stay up because of the ribbing. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm gonna wear the heck out of this winter. I'm gonna try and leave it on for the podcast, but I don't know if it's gonna get too hot. Honestly, it's probably 60 out, but like I said, really overcast, so not super warm. One last thing I will say about this is my buttons that I got for this are fantastic. They were not expensive. Actually, I found them on clearance at Joann's for like 97 cents for 3 buttons. But they look like the old-timey buttons, and I don't know, I just love them. So yeah. Anyway, be looking for this pattern to come out soon. I don't know when it's going to come out, but if you've been following Mina's podcast, she just moved, and so even though the deadline was originally August 12th, she ended up extending it to August 19th. Oh, today. So I imagine it will be out soon. I don't know. For my size, I didn't come across any problems, so I can't imagine she'll have to change anything there, but possibly the other sizes might have had some issues. I don't know. But yeah, I would think it would be coming out hopefully by the end of the month or beginning of next month, but that's totally a guess. She hasn't told anybody that I know of, so. Anyway, when it comes out, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. All right, what else? I think I have to pause so I can go put my finished objects inside and get you some works in progress. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I remembered, like I said at the beginning, I had 2 more finished objects to show you, and I'd forgotten to grab them, and I forgot to grab them twice. So anyway, here we are, the Harlow Hat by Andrea Mowry, which is a brioche. It's supposed to be very slouchy, but I don't like my hat slouchy, so I made it a little less so. The nice thing is I can wear this with my hair in a bun, which doesn't really happen anymore because I forgot to mention, I'm sure you've noticed if you were familiar with me before, I cut my hair. I love my hair short. I'm going to try and put this on. I'm already having a bad hair day anyway, so I don't think it really matters if I screw it up some more. But yeah, so I made this because like I said, I don't like it slouchy, so I can put up the brim, and you know, so it gives you a little extra coverage over the ears. Or when I had longer hair and I had it in a bun, I would just wear it without this folded, and my hair would take up the extra room. But yeah, hopefully you can see that. Absolutely love it. And I made Glen one as well. and he has been wearing his. He really likes it. So this is a brioche pattern that uses 2 fingering weight yarns. For both of ours, I used similar yarns, just different colors. The stripy one is a Knit Picks Felici color. I'm not recalling the name of this one. I think it might be Punch Bug. And then the inside of his, or the alternate color, because yes, you can wear these either way. This color is a Knit Picks Stroll Brights Razzleberry, I do believe. Of course, I had to show you the one spot that I wove in the ends. There you go. I didn't realize I made that so noticeable, but then again, he's been wearing it, so God only knows what's happened to this hat at this point. But he loves his knitwear. Very, very knitworthy guy. I can't complain. So, yes, that didn't mess me up too bad. Mine again is a Knit Picks Felici in the striping, which is something about candy. I don't remember, but something candy. And then the inside is a Knit Picks Stroll Brights. And I'm not remembering what the bright pink is called either. But yeah, absolutely love this hat. Now that it's getting a little colder, I have a feeling we'll be wearing those a lot. Really nice for like walking the dogs and stuff. Now I just need a like warmer winter hat. Cody! Glenn's parents just gave us some strawberry plants that I have to replant. And Cody, who just stuck his snout up here, was chewing on one of the strawberries. So clearly we're going to have to find a new solution other than being on the ground for those, because he likes strawberries. Who knew? Also, that's why you wash your berries before you eat them. I mean, among other reasons, but yeah, dog spit. Ah. All right. So I do have a half-finished object, except for the fact that I didn't weave in the ends. Literally, you guys, I finished this before I podcasted today because I just really wanted it done. So yeah, see, ends. It's fine. I had Glenn try this on already. It is a sock for him. This is the Stitch Surfer pattern, which is a really neat pattern. Obviously, it uses 2 different yarns. And I believe it's called Stitch Surfer because it looks like a wave, because it goes in and out, maybe. If not, I totally made that up. So yeah, anyway, they are cast on toe up. You can see you go straight for a while and then it starts, they call it surf left and right. So I think that is surf left and then surf right and then left again all the way up to the top. And I did a fish lips kiss heel. This was kind of interesting because based on all the project notes, and this is a free pattern, based on all the project notes, people were saying that the heel that was written in the pattern is not good. And so I wasn't sure what to do, but I managed to figure out how to do, excuse me, a fish lips kiss heel on this. It was just a little confusing because when I came to the seam, I wasn't sure how I was going to get back over here to actually start the heel. So it's in my project notes, but all I did was, because I would be on a purl row. So instead of stopping at the middle, I kept on purling over to here and then started a knit row and then just started the fish lips kiss heel like you normally would. You can see it there. And then on the contrasting side. So I think it looks pretty cool. The other sock is supposed to be the opposite, the mirror opposite. So I'm not really sure how that's going to work. I may still do the heel in this color because if I don't, it's going to screw up the stripes. But yeah. I don't remember what this blue yarn is. It's just a commercial variegated kind of denim-y blue yarn. And the blue striping is a Ice Yarns self-striping, no color name, because that's what they do. But yeah, he tried that on. I took a picture of that so I can insert that. The whole reason that I started knitting those was because I started making a pair for myself to join in on the Naughty Knitwits Stitch Surfer knit along. And Glenn would not stop talking about how much he loved these socks. So I was like, well, I better knit him a pair. And so this is my version. I am using Knit Picks Felici. I think it's my last skein of Knit Picks because I didn't buy any this most recent time. And they're Knit Picks Stroll Brights in the Sour Apple. I just love the combination. They're so like bright and cheery. Same thing, fish lips, kiss heel, nothing special there. Yeah, so these, I like I said earlier, I like my leg on my sock to be ideally 90 rounds and then a 20 round cuff, so 110 total from the heel. But I haven't weighed out my yarn yet to see, you know, if I'll be able to do that or not. If not, I'm totally good with 80 or 90 before I start the cuff. And normally, like 99.9% of the time, I knit cuff down. So this is it's a different process, but it's not hard. It's just different. Like for me, the toe up instructions, I definitely have to watch a video to remember how to do it. Whereas cuff down, it's super simple. For me anyway, because I don't know, that's the way my brain works, I guess. All right, I have more works in progress because as soon as I finished this cardigan, I had been promising to knit one for Glenn for some time, and I chose the Gramps cardigan by Tin Can Knits, which is a paid for pattern. I will show you this without showing you the pattern. So that's obviously the baby size. Glenn is much bigger than a baby, so it's going to be a lot more knitting. But yeah, I'm going to also give you a little pro tip too. I only use my printer at home for knitting patterns, but I don't know, it's like the ink sits there and I use it so infrequently that it dries up. And if you've ever bought printer ink, I think we probably all have at some point, it is super expensive. So what I've been doing is when I'm ready to cast on, or right before I'm ready to cast on, I have already downloaded my file. I put it on a thumb drive. I take it to my local Staples. You can insert your thumb drive and you can print as many pages as you want from a pattern. It lets you select the pages that you want. You can print in black and white. You can print in color. It's really, really fantastic. I don't want to give anything away, but I don't think this is going to. I'm just going to show like a little corner of the page. Can you see how I have like the yellow highlights there? So in my pattern viewer on my computer, I had already gone through and highlighted all of the sizes for Glenn's cardigan. And so when I printed it, it just printed on there. And that was pretty fantastic because I want to knit this for myself too when I'm done with his. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll just go and either highlight mine in a different color or circle it or whatever. But certainly when I print at Staples, the quality is a million times better than my cheapo printer. It costs me hardly anything, even in color. This was four pages in color was like $2.50 or something like that. Really worth it because I like to go through line by line and I'll make tally marks, check marks. And if there isn't room in the pattern itself, that's what I do on a sticky note. But if it is, like if it's just repeat twice, I make tally marks in the margin. And that way I know even when I've set something down for a long time that I can come back and know exactly where I was. So that being said, here is Glenn's beginning of his Gramps cardigan. So you'll notice I have put a steek in, and I started right from the very first round to put in steek stitches because, as I mentioned with this cardigan, I am over purling back. It's fine, but when it's just straight knitting, super easy to be able to manage to steek it. So it looks a little funky now. I'm not to the sleeve separation yet, but you can see, I do believe this is a raglan shaping. So you can see the sleeves there where it's widening up. I feel like this is really hard to show on these needles, so hopefully you can see. But yeah, so that's my first experiment with, well, I guess not technically. I knit that antler cardigan in the round versus, and steeked it versus doing the purl back, but I feel like it's a different situation when it's something this large. I will say I do not love this yarn. I really hope it softens up, but I'm so concerned, as knitworthy as Glenn is, he's not a sweatshirt wearer, which I live in sweatshirts. I've never seen him wear a sweater. He really just wanted a cardigan that had elbow patches, which the Gramps fit. So I'm a little concerned he may not wear this. And if he does wear it, I think it's going to be at home, and it's going to be 100% covered in dog hair in like a day. So I didn't go for anything luxurious. In fact, I went for this Lion brand fisherman's wool in the brown heather color. And yeah, like I said, I hope it softens up when I wash it. If it doesn't really soften, I know I can use conditioner, and that's not going to be an issue. I won't say it's like super itchy. It's just, it's not soft. I mean, it definitely feels different than the wool of the Andes for sure. But this has been washed and this hasn't. But I will say, like, knitting with it is not as enjoyable. But again, I think for the project, it's the right choice. If he ends up loving it and wearing the heck out of it, I will definitely, like, I would buy this yarn, which might actually be less expensive, as silly as that sounds. I did not bring the contrast color out here with me. But yeah, anyway, I'm a big fan of my 50% off Joann's coupons, so you can be sure I did not pay full price for that yarn. So I can't feel bad about it. I think Cody's eating my mint plants now. The dog is crazy. He acts like I don't feed him. All right. So many bags. I don't even know what's in what bag right now, because honestly, until today when I was getting my whips out, I forgot I even had this. This is another candy skein yarn, which is so pretty. It was another color of the month colorway, and I'm not remembering what month it was. This might have been July. No? I don't remember. And I don't have the yarn tag. I want to say it might be Sugar Cookie, but I also might have made that up. Yeah, super pretty. It's the Simple Skip SKYP pattern, which I have wanted to knit for myself for so long, because I've knit this for gift socks, I've knit Glenn a pair, and I just love that little, it kind of looks like a braid. I love that. So anyway, I think it's really beautiful on the yarn. Again, I forgot I even had these going. I worked on these in Cabo, but I didn't even finish a sock. So this is going back on the top of my get it done list. Let's see what else we have. So many things. It's a good thing, right? All right. Oh, and then this is just, you probably don't care. This is the yarn from Glenn's Stitch Surfer Socks. I just didn't show it. I am so like in love and addicted to hand winding my sock yarns now. It takes a little more time, but I kind of feel like you get to enjoy the yarn twice. So once while you're winding it up, and once while you're knitting it, and then of course while you wear it too. But I was also really just wanting to knit a gobstopper, or not knit, to wind a gobstopper ball. I don't think mine's near as pretty as some people's. I don't know how you guys do it, but that's my DIY gobstopper bowl. And then when it's not self-striping, yeah, I don't know. I just switch it whenever I want to. It doesn't really matter. I'm just knitting it. Right? I don't know. All right. Almost last bag. So this one I do remember is called Seaweed Socks. This is another of the Nordic Stitches patterns. It's really pretty. I haven't picked it up in forever. Obviously, I will finish this someday. I don't know when. But it'll get done when it gets done, or it won't. I don't know. I'm really trying not to stress out about my knitting these days. And then if you remember, I had knit this very long. I don't remember if I put the heel in or not. Anyway, Glenn, maybe I even finished the sock. I don't know. Glenn tried it on, did not fit, so I started over. Not too exciting, and that's okay. I have one last work in progress that I'm going to show you. I'm sure I probably have more that I didn't pull out. But this I started very recently. And my original thought that it was going to be a design that I was going to write up. But now I don't think that's the case. So you're just going to have to enjoy it for what it is while I show it to you. So there you go. It's some Christmas trees. It's very cute. I like it. It's pretty, I won't say complicated. It's not complicated. It's involved. It's a 20, the way I wrote it up, it is a 26 row round repeat. So there's a lot, but I really love it. And then I love this maroony red color that I'm using for the contrast. Again, these are toe up, which is not my thing. I'm knitting this out of Mary Maxim Simple Sock, shade 17. That's an exciting color name. But it's gorgeous. Like, I don't know. I love it. And red is not my thing. Although I will say burgundy is more my thing. The green, okay guys, I don't even remember what yarn this is because I've used it for heels, cuffs, and toes for something. Okay, so here, this is what it is. Cascade Heritage Sock Yarn. Color 5612. It's beautiful. This would be great for a shawl or something like that, but it sucks for socks. Sorry, Cascade, I've knit with your yarns before. I would never buy this for sock yarn again, ever. And I'm not gonna lie, I use a lot of commercial sock yarns, and I really don't have a reason to complain very often. But this is so thin. The stitches, like, stretch out like crazy. I seriously have to knit this at a very tight gauge. And the difference between this and the red yarn is just night and day. Do you see how thin those stitches are? And then up here, they're just thicker and nicer, and I don't know. I'm not sure if that will really come across on video. But yeah, guys, don't waste your money on this for socks. I'm hoping, I mean, obviously I think they'll wear fine, but they make a very thin sock. I don't have any size 0 needles, but that's probably really what I need. I'm just not interested in knitting on size 0s. That's a lot of work. Anyway, though, I do love these socks, and I will finish them. I'm sure I will. Because I will have a Christmas pair of socks. How exciting is that? All right. So I do have some acquisitions. I'm going to pause, clear off my little outdoor table here, and come back and we'll talk about acquisitions. Okay, we're back for acquisitions. And don't worry guys, this is going to be a pretty short little segment because I'm not going to show you everything. I'm just going to give you like a little highlight reel. So the first highlight is, you guessed it, Candy Skein yarn in the August 2018 color, which is Sour Gummy Worm. And you guys, I do love this color. It is so beautiful. But also, it's my birthday month. I'll be 39 next Saturday. Crazy. I love the color. I had to get it because it's an August color. It has nothing to do with August, but I do love sour gummy worms. I mean, who doesn't? Yeah. So hopefully you can really appreciate all the different colors in here. Blues and purples and greens, pinks, orange. I mean, pretty much if you mix this neon-y orange with pink, I'm probably going to buy it because I love it. There we go. I just totally thought of what my screen's going to be. This will be my, whatever you call it, thumbnail, intro screen. I think I'm losing it. It's okay. All right. So again, we're on acquisitions. Glenn and I recently went to Bend. I went there for some training, and then we extended it for a few days. So I had to check out the local yarn shops. The first one I went to is called Wool Town. This is in downtown Bend, which is such a neat little area. I had never been there, which is crazy since Bend is such a popular area in Oregon. So I'm going to show you the way this yarn was displayed because I think it's so cool. In the shop Wool Town, these were literally just hanging there like this to pick out. And so I think that's such a neat way in a shop to show color. In fact, maybe she had it hanging by the tag. I don't remember. But I think you get a better idea of what the skein looks like when it's hanging. So let me show you the beautiful colors in here. It's really, really gorgeous. I have no idea how this is going to knit up. But it is by Manos del Uruguay. Alegria. And it's the color Happy. It makes me happy. Seriously. Again, we have the sort of neon-y oranges. We have some pink speckles. Yep, they got my number. That's what it takes. Pink and orange. My two favorite colors ever. So yeah, I'm not sure why shops don't show their yarn like this more often. Maybe because it's a pain in the butt. I was thankful that I do know how to reskein. I mean, I really stink at it, but I know how to do it. Because I don't know. I kind of got the impression she was just going to throw it in the bag like this. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I reskeined it. Or I should say twisted it up. I don't know if is that called reskeining? I don't know. So yeah, I'm not great at it, but it gets the job done. All right, so that was that shop. That's the only thing I got there. Actually, not true. I got some stitch markers. No big deal. They're nothing special, but they get the job done. The next shop I went to was Fancy Work, also in Bend. I can't tell you because I'm not familiar with the area, but this was in not as nice an area of town. But oh my goodness, the yarns that they had were simply amazing. I'd had these packed away since we came back, and I hadn't looked at them, so I looked at them again today, and I'm telling you, I regret nothing. Best choices ever. Awesome colors. I mean, that's a good thing when you can buy something over a month ago and then you still love it. I mean, hopefully I love it for more than a month. This is Machete Shop, which is such a weird name for a yarn business. There must be a story behind that. And it is the color Chinese 5 Spice. And you guys, this is beautiful. I'm not going to open it because I don't want to ruin it, but look at all those colors in there. I feel like this would make a really great pair of Clark socks. The ones by Jacqueline Salem. I have had those in my library for a while and I've been dying to make them. The unfortunate part is I feel like I don't really normally gravitate towards colors that would look good in a pattern like that, but I think that will be amazing. The next one I got, I don't even know how to say this. Araucania yarns, Huasco sock. If you know how to say that better, maybe let me know. I probably won't remember, but that was my best guess. This is in the color Guacamayo. I don't know. It's a cool name. I like the name. I'm assuming that's because of maybe it's like Cinco de Mayo and guacamole. I don't know. But there you have some avocado-ish colors. There's this nice bright pink, some really pretty blue. Although it has the pink and like some orangey, I would say this is not something I would normally gravitate towards, but I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really pretty. And then the last thing I got is probably my absolute favorite, you guys. This is so pretty. This is Long Dog yarn in the color Dark Dimension. And oh my goodness, it's this tonal gray, which goes kind of all the way to black. And these bright pops of pink and yellow and orange and green. Again, there's my bright orange and my bright pink. Seriously. I don't have a type at all, do I? No. I don't know what I'm going to knit with this, but for now I'm just going to look at it and squish it and dream about what I'm going to knit with it. So those were my acquisitions from Bend. Actually, I have one more acquisition from Bend. And it was not from a yarn shop. This little basket, not what's in it. It's actually Glenn's cardigan that's in it. This basket came from their local grocery store. And I still have the tag here. Because I don't know, I just can't take it off. It's so cool. It is the Alafia Authentic Mini Market Basket, ethically traded, made with authentic savanna grass, hand woven with sustainably harvested grasses by Alafia cooperative members in West Africa. So I completely forgot about this, or I would have taken all this stuff out already. But there's a really cool tag in here, which I don't know if I can show you it well. But it's this leather tag, and it tells me who made it. And I'm not going to be able to read this, I don't think, but it tells me the weaver's name, the village that they came from, and then there's a lot number. And it says handmade in Ghana. It's like, I don't know, of course, it's got the pink. It's just such a nice little basket. I mean, I wouldn't really take this to be my, in place of a project bag, but at home, I just put my yarn in here and, for now this fits, but it won't fit soon. And I just use this to hold my yarn so it doesn't get dog hair, it doesn't roll over. I mean, I guess I'm using it like a yarn bowl. When I was knitting a sock, I just you could feed the yarn through here. It was supposed to be bought in place of like grocery bags, but I can't imagine what I would buy that would fit in this little basket at a grocery store. I mean, like 2 apples, I don't know. So it's perfect for this. I love it. And it was really reasonably priced. I don't remember how much I spent, but I love it. All right. I think I have one more kind of yarny thing to show you, and then we will have a little chat. I feel like this is already going to be super long, but I kind of feel like I owe you guys an explanation for why I've been gone so long. So anyhow, one last yarny thing. I wanted to show you guys this. This is how Glenn has been keeping his socks recently, because he ran out of room in his drawer. So there's 9 pairs here. This is one of those hanging, it's like for belts. I originally bought this to put my shawls in, and then of course, if you know, I don't knit a lot of shawls, so I haven't been putting them in here. And I just had this hanging in my closet not used. And he was telling me about how he had no room in his sock drawer. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I think I actually want to get one of these for me because, like I said, you can hold up to 18 pairs in here. Actually, really, I guess you could hold more because you could put more than 1 pair in the hole. But yeah, then you can actually look at your pretty colors to pick a pair of socks. Not saying it's better or worse than a box, but, maybe if you don't have room to be either having a whole drawer of socks or a separate box that you would set on a surface. You can always buy those over the door hooks and hang those. You could hang multiple from that. So I don't know. I really like that idea. And I think next time I go to IKEA, I'm going to pick up a couple more of those. All right. So let's get into the why it's been 3 months since I podcasted. There's so many reasons, guys. And it's not because I didn't want to talk to you guys. There's a few of you who've reached out and told me how much they miss me and, please podcast. And I appreciate that. I really do. I try and post as much as I can on Instagram without being annoying. Which is funny because I don't think other people are annoying when they post a bunch, but I feel like I am. Weird guilt thing, I guess. Or I think I just don't have as meaningful things to post as some people. And that kind of gets into why I haven't been podcasting, because seems like once a year I get into this funk of like, I don't have anything new to share. I don't have anything that sets me apart from all these amazing podcasts. I'm not as good as them. My work isn't as good as them. I don't have enough money for all the expensive yarn that they have. I mean, just all these things in my head, right? And I just know it's like negative talk. But sometimes that gets really overwhelming. And not to say like, you guys, oh, you have to subscribe to my channel. I need subscribers to keep, going. But there does get a point where it's like, okay, I've been doing this for a while now and I have like no subscribers. Not no. I mean, yes, I appreciate all of you. Please don't think I don't. But you just don't see that number growing. It's like, what am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? And so that was part of it. And then the other part was, recently I have had to make the decision to knit less, which is a hard decision for me. I love to knit. Like there's nothing that I would rather do more. I do like food and I like to eat. So, if I can eat and knit, that's probably, my perfect world right there. But, I have gained 40 pounds in a fairly short amount of time, and I was just gaining more. And so I changed the way that I was eating in January, and I lost 10 to 15 pounds. Weight fluctuates a little bit. And then I just literally stalled. And I realized that for my health and my safety and longevity and all that stuff, that I needed to start working out. As much as like I fought it, right? Oh, I can just do it with diet. But like I said, I'm turning 39. And as we know, hormones change, our bodies change, everything starts to affect us differently. And I just couldn't lose the weight. And for my job, I have to be physically capable and active. And I didn't want to get to a point where I couldn't do that anymore, because that just opens me up to a lot of really dangerous situations that I can avoid, right? Because we can't avoid everything, but sometimes we can avoid things. So I think we should do what we can to avoid it. In the same tune, I have no indicators that I have diabetes or pre-diabetic or anything like that. But, I just found out a girl who I've known for years just found out she's pre-diabetic, and luckily she had made the decision to start being healthier before finding that out. So it's something at this stage she can still reverse it, but that's a very real reality. So I had to weigh the fact, would I rather knit before I go to work? Yes, absolutely, I would rather knit. But I have cut that out of my schedule, and in the mornings I work out. And I'm loving it, actually. For a person who doesn't love to work out, I love what I'm doing. If you watch my stories, I've posted some about it there. Again, I don't like to post it on my main page a lot because I know my main page is really for knitting. But, really it's kind of like for my life. I just don't like to be overwhelming with, here's all my workout videos or photos or whatever versus, more knitting content. So if you're interested in that, check out my stories. Every day that I'm working out, I'm posting out what I'm doing, and sometimes I'm posting like transformation photos, which the program I'm doing right now, it's called Lift 4. It's a Beachbody program, and I am starting week 6 tomorrow, which is really exciting. And what's even more exciting is I am finally at that point where I'm seeing a difference, like physically in my body. I mean, I'm losing a ton of inches, not so much weight, but I'm also like doing lifting. But I mean, like I can see it. My face is thinned down. I don't have the double chin anymore. Um, Cody. Cody's eating all the strawberries. So, you know, I've just gotten to a point where I realize I have to put my health first. And if I put my health first, then in theory, that should give me more years to knit down the road. So my knitting has slowed down, which it didn't really feel like it showing all those things to you, but it really has, especially working on this for 5 weeks. So that's kind of where I am, guys. I do hope to podcast more often because I like talking to you guys. I like showing you things, just like I enjoy other people's podcasts. You know, I like being part of the community. So I hope you'll forgive me for it being so long, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. I probably had other things I wanted to say, but I kind of, I didn't make show notes. Unfortunately, it's not really my thing to make show notes. I just kind of like to show you the projects and talk about it and not go too in depth because, like I said, I make really detailed notes in my Ravelry page, which, by the way, if you end up knitting this, I have quite detailed notes about it in my Ravelry page. So you can check that out. And there's a lot of really cute pictures there too. If I remember, I will put a link to it down below. Or maybe we'll even just insert them somewhere here, maybe at the end or whatever. But if you guys have stuck with me this long, because I feel like this is going to be a long podcast, at least a long one for me, then thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I truly do miss you all. I have been fortunate enough to have some really good relationships and friendships with people who do watch the podcast and talk to me on Instagram. So I appreciate that more than you guys can know. I think I'm going to end it here. I am sure as soon as I hit that little button, I'm going to be like, oh, I forgot to say like 100 different things, but you guys will cover that in a week or two, okay? And I know I said it before and I just was kind of really wishy-washy on if I wanted to do it or not, but I think I will try and record, hopefully once a week, maybe not, and just I'm going to show you really probably not a lot of progress, but I'll kind of just focus on what I have been knitting that week. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do that. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, well, just skip it. Go somewhere else. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.